Hello, fellow bookworms. I'll be sharing the book Too Tight Benito with you. This book was written by Ms. Janeen Brian and illustrated by Ms. Judith Rossell. Benito the bear has grown too big and can't fit into his old cubby-hole anymore. Will he find a cubby-hole that's just right? Let's find out together. The leaves were falling. It was Benito Bear's last romp before crawling into his cubby-hole to sleep for the winter. But when he tried to wriggle inside his cubby-hole, he got no more than halfway. He could no longer curl up or roll around or stretch out flat. "I'll have to find a new cubby-hole," said Benito Bear. "A bigger one." He headed out across the clearing and found an otter's burrow beside a stream. But it wasn't a cubby-hole for a bear. "Too wet," said Benito, and on he walked. He found a woodpecker's hole in a tree and a rabbit burrow behind a log. But they weren't cubby-holes for a bear. "Too noisy," said Benito. "Too crowded." And on he walked. He found an ant hole and a lizard hole, but no cubby-hole for a bear. "Too small," said Benito. He found an owl hole and a fox hole. "Too high," said Benito. "Too smelly." Benito Bear crept into the forest. He tiptoed further and deeper until all around him were snappity twigs and damp leaves, sky-high trees and swaying shadows. Benito Bear stopped. He looked one way and then the other. He didn't know where he was, and he didn't like where he was. Then he saw a hole. Benito Bear dived inside, away from the snappity twigs and damp leaves, the sky-high trees and swaying shadows. This hole wasn't too wet, too noisy, or too crowded. It wasn't too high, or small, or smelly. This hole was good for curling up, and rolling around, and stretching out flat. It was a cubby-hole for a bear. Benito looked up. He looked from side to side. He saw darkness all around. Darkness where things might slither. Darkness where things might hiss. Darkness where things might flap or snap or snarl. Benito Bear scrambled back out of the hole. He ran across the snappity twigs and damp leaves, past the sky-high trees and swaying shadows, past the log and the stream. The squirrel's following him. At last he dived into the safety of his own old cubby-hole and got stuck. Benito Bear wriggled. He squirmed. Dirt fell down all around. Then Benito Bear dug. He dug wide and deep. He dug deeper and wider. He dug until... all the animals are watching. He could crawl all the way inside. Then he curled up, rolled around, and stretched out flat. Benito's too small cubbyhole was now a just right, not too tight, Benito Bear cubbyhole, with just enough room. For one more. Did you enjoy this story? And were you able to read along? You can find Too Tight Benito and many other fun books at your local library, or check out the description below to learn more. If you want to become a Read Along Book Club member, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any uploads. Well, until next time,